Sometimes, what appears significant at first may just be the opening act for an even grander spectacle. The year was 1985, and Nabisco, known for Oreos and Ritz crackers, faced a stock stagnation despite its strong international presence. Seeking growth, CEO Ross Johnson orchestrated a controversial merger with tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds, forming RJR Nabisco for nearly $5 billion. However, by 1987, tobacco-related lawsuits hit the company, causing a sharp decline in stock value. Johnson explored various strategies to revive the stock, including unsuccessful attempts, such as introducing the premier smokeless cigarette, which failed due to its weird taste. The stock price hovered around $52 per share. Johnson's solution to the unsuccessful attempts of raising the stock price was simple: eliminate the stock price from the equation. To do this, he began to investigate a technique quickly becoming the deal of its time: the leveraged buyout. To learn how leveraged buyouts work, please check out our previous video here. In September 1987, Ross accepted a private dinner invitation from Henry Kravis of KKR. Ross soon realized that Henry was not the type of person who would let other people run the companies that he buys. In that evening, Ross Johnson looked across the table and realized that if he goes forward with an LBO with Henry Kravis, he might make a fortune. But he's looking at his future boss. Ross didn't want to work for anybody. If he was going to do an LBO, he wanted to do it in a way that he would run the company, not the Wall Street financiers. So he rejected Henry. In 1988, Ross reached out to Shearson Lehman Hutton, a reputable investment bank in New York. Shearson is a well-established Wall Street firm, traditionally earning its income through the buying and selling of stocks. It has no track record whatsoever in LBOs, but this is where the big money is being made, and the company badly wants to get into the LBO game. Leading the charge for Shearson is its 42-year-old CEO, Peter Cohen, an aggressive veteran investment administrator. Peter Cohen is a galvanizing figure on Wall Street, a bit controversial, a bit of a tough guy. The plan is to quietly take the company private, hoping to rejuvenate its fortunes. But unfortunately, the RJR Nabisco board meeting on October 19, 1988 becomes a turning point. Johnson pitches the idea to the board, suggesting a bid north of $75 per share, or $17 billion. Unexpectedly, the board treats this informal number as a legal bid, leading to a press release about the LBO proposal. This announcement triggers a Wall Street frenzy. Major financial players like Salomon Brothers, Drexel, Citibank, and Chase Manhattan scramble to finance the potential deal. Within hours of that board meeting, the whispers start circulating. Henry's on his way, they say. The anticipation is palpable, the tension almost tangible. Henry Kravis and George Roberts of KKR do not take the news well and are preparing to retaliate. Henry is particularly upset, feeling sidelined, because he had been in talks with Ross and is surprised that Ross hadn't mentioned the deal. 2 days post the RJR Nabisco board meeting, CEO Peter Cohen meets Kravis at KKR, attempting to make peace. However, Kravis suspects Cohen of trying to strike a deal behind his back. On Monday morning, Cohen receives an early call from an irritated Kravis who accuses him of foul play. Cohen denies any such contract. Hours after the conversation, the LBO king comes out swinging. KKR challenges Johnson's and Cohen's bid with a bold proposal: $90 per share for RJR stock, a staggering $3 billion more than the initial offer. RJR Nabisco, now in history's largest bidding war, forms a special committee for the bidding process. They set an 11-day limit for bids, with a final date of November 18th. As Brian Burrow, the author of Barbarians at the Gate, says, for a week prior to the deadline, what happens is that everybody on Wall Street stopped what they were doing, essentially because everybody was working on the RJR deal. The teams work non-stop until the 5 p.m. deadline on Friday, November 18th, when the bids are finally submitted. The results are as follows. KKR offered $94 per share, while Johnson and Shearson proposed a higher bid of $100 per share. It looks like KKR is slain, and Ross Johnson and Shearson won. But to everyone's surprise, a third bid emerges. The dark horse is the First Boston Investment Corporation, and their offer is an astounding $118 per share. On November 19th, RJR Nabisco's special committee shocks both Johnson's and Kravis's teams by setting a new deadline, November 29th, to allow time to examine the First Boston's astronomical bid. During the next week, the Kravis and Johnson teams quickly learn that the First Boston's high bid is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. November 19th, 1988, with only 10 days remaining before final bids are due, it appears that Ross Johnson's management team is not only on the verge of winning the largest prize in corporate history, they're about to conquer the king of the LBO, Henry Kravis. KKR stood to lose his position as the premier leverage buyout firm in the country, and there was no question it was in that position at that time. Soon, Johnson receives even more good news. Kravis and KKR seem to be losing interest. In the midst of the historical deal, Kravis surprises everyone by flying off to Colorado for an unexpected skiing trip. With Kravis out of the picture, the Johnson-Shearson team prepares for a final bid. After a week of intense number crunching, the Johnson team decides to raise their bid by just $1. They feel no need to increase their bid significantly as they believed First Boston's bid was unrealistic and Kravis was not returning. The next day, all the players gather in New York City for the final bids. As expected, First Boston announces that their bid had collapsed. Just after 5 p.m., RJR's special committee opens the sealed bids of the final two. The special committee does not reveal the amounts of the bids, but tells Johnson's management team that they can go home. Kravis and Roberts are invited to stay. This sends the management group into a panic. Unaware of the amount of Kravis's bid, Peter Cohen spends hours trying to get information. As the Johnson team accepts defeat, Ross Johnson checks out, believing Henry Kravis and KKR are the winners. Peter Cohen, still unaware of Kravis's bid, decides to go public with a higher bid, initiating what amounts to a corporate Hail Mary. He places a bid on the tape, announcing Shearson's increase to $108 per share. The move forces RJR Nabisco's special committee to temporarily halt negotiations with Kravis. Cohen's gambit is a brilliant strategic move that opens a window of opportunity for the Johnson camp. Kravis, facing the potential loss of the deal, issues an ultimatum: accept his offer within an hour or KKR will walk away. The board negotiates to pay KKR $45 million for a chance to have a couple hours for the final decision. At 2 p.m., the board grants both sides the opportunity for one final bid. In a last-ditch effort, Peter Cohen, facing a scramble for more funds, turns to Ross Johnson, proposing a reduction in his management compensation package. Ross, in this scenario, is like a captured king. He's just a spectator watching the battlefield where two rivals fight. A final bid showdown follows. Shearson's bid is $112.25, surpassing KKR's $109.25 bid. Despite the higher bid, the board chooses Kravis, citing a preference for the $109 figure. The deal is done on November 30th, 1988, marking the end of a 42-day, $25 billion battle. One of KKR's first orders of business, replacing CEO Ross Johnson, who walks off with a $53 million golden parachute. In the fallout from the deal, Peter Cohen loses his job at Shearson Lehman Hutton. For 5 years, Henry Kravis leads RJR Nabisco, facing challenges from the bond market collapse and tobacco litigation. In 1994, KKR abandons the company in a stock swap with Borden. By 1999, RJR Nabisco is split up. Its international division sold to a Japanese tobacco company, and in 2000, Nabisco itself is purchased by Kraft Foods. Ironically, what initially appeared as a golden opportunity eventually transforms into a setback, serving as a cautionary tale against attempting an LBO post-RJR. The story of the RJR Nabisco bidding war is an intriguing journey through the twists and turns of corporate finance. What are your thoughts on this battle for control? Did any parts of the story surprise you, or do you have any questions about the events that unfolded? I'd love to hear your insights and comments. Please share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more finance insights. This is Finance Blitz, signing off. Thanks for watching.